So today is March 9th, I believe. It is a Sunday, and I am here to bring you um, a book review today. And this one's a special one because I finished the whole series. Um, I don't know if she's going to be making more from the series. I hope she does because I'm obsessed with this trilogy. Um, I am going to be reviewing today the Time I Was Drunk series and Saved a Demon, a Werewolf, and a Human. All three of those. So I want to give a little bit of context as to how I found these and get into my review. So I stumbled across this because if you've been on my channel long enough or on my Instagram, you know that I very much enjoy dark fantasy romances, and those entail like ACOTAR, Iron Flame. I'm still trying to beef up. I actually just purchased Dark Winnow and Crescent City. So I'm getting into those, and I just finished writing my dark fantasy romance. The first draft, like re-edited, like it had huge reworking to do, and so I spent a whole month of February dedicated to finishing it, which I did. But I didn't want to go straight back into dark fantasy romances. So I was like, I want a fantasy that is fun, that is light, a little bit more on the lighter side. Still romance, of course, but I was missing that. And I didn't want to necessarily go back to contemporary romances because it's not my first love. Like, there are some that I'm like obsessed with, but it's not always fun. Sometimes it's like pointy. Like, I think I have like how many? One, two, I have like 2 books in contemporary that I'm still finishing. So like this one, I'm still trying to finish before I let go. This is just so sad. I think I just realized that I'm not into sad books. Like I don't read to be sad. I read to be happy. And so I will finish this because I heard Kennedy Ryan's great, and she is great. Like, I'm telling you, the writing in this is phenomenal. The characters, the emotion, it's just that my heart can't take it in long sittings. So I will finish it. I promise. This was gonna take me a minute. But let's get started with today. So I found this fantasy series on Barnes & Noble's app. I was looking again into fantasies that would make me happy, and I found the title of this book. I actually found this one first. So this is the one I saw online, and I was like intrigued a little bit. I remember when I first saw another YouTuber recommend this one, I was like, this ain't my cup of tea. Like, I was like, I don't know. So when I saw this one, I thought this one was going to be a little bit more my speed, just based on what it had on here. And I'll read all the synopsises when I get to them. But basically, I had this was on pre-order. Turns out this is like the newest edition with the best, like a new cover, and I am obsessed with the covers. The covers are absolutely beautiful. This one was on pre-order, so I was like, I'll wait. And then recently, within like 2 or 3 weeks, I saw it on the table for Black Voices. It was like buy one get one for 50% off, and I ended up picking this one up as well as this one. So I got these 2, and then come to realize that they are books 2 and 3. And at first I was like, well, maybe they're not the same. Maybe they're like different characters. And so me reading 2 and 3 first will not be detrimental. And I was wrong. And I was just like, I stopped like on page 2 or 3 of this one, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna hold this off, and I'm gonna get this one. So I literally went back to the store to pick up this one, and so this is where we're gonna start off today. So this one is called The Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon. This is Cinnamon. This is Fallon. This is the first book where I've ever read about a character that had an interesting name. Like, our whole family is named after spices. Like, it's like cinnamon, cumin, chili, cherry. Like, and their last name's Hot Pepper. Like, I thought that would be The last name still gets me. Whenever they say hot pepper, I'm like, Jesus. But cinnamon, the first names I got with. And so I'm going to read it. So, Spice Trader Cinnamon's quiet life is turned upside down when she ends up on a quest with a fiery demon in this irreverently quirky rom-com fantasy that is sweet, steamy, funny as hell. It's like all she wanted to do was live her life in peace, maybe get a cat, expand the family spice farm. Really anything that didn't involve going on an adventure where an orc might rip her face off. But they say the goddess has favorites, and if so, Sin is clearly not one of them. After Sin, in a wine-drunk stupor, saves the demon Fallon, he reveals that all he wants to do is kill an evil witch enslaving his people, and who can blame him? But now he's dragging Cinnamon along for the ride, whether she likes it or not. On the bright side, at least he keeps burning off his shirt. It's just so... It actually, so after I'm done going through each individual one, I will compare the three because I have major opinions on it. But overall, I would give this book, I think I gave this book a 4. It is great. Do I love the characters? I wouldn't say... I'm going to hold off on that because, like I said, I think there's a better relationship in the series that I am obsessed with more. But this was great. It wasn't a horrible read. It was very informative. The way they got together, it's very much giving mates. All of these are mates. So if you're not into the mates trope, then you can skip this. But I am a fan of the mates trope. And so I wasn't upset with this one. This one was okay with how they got together, how they decided he waited to tell her. Like, he didn't just say it right away, which is, like, that's a thing. So, but yes, in regards to Steam, because I told you that I think I did a review on this one. Not a review, like, I read, like, the dedication or whatever in the warnings. This one is definitely a, what do you call it? Spicy peppers, let's see. Spice level, I would say, I would give it, like, a 4. Like, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like, it's, for me, it's pretty up there. There's, I think, 3 distinct scenes I could think of in this. So, there you go. But I would give this a 4. And the next one is this one. So, I love this book. And I'm just telling you now, this is a 5 out of 5. In regards to just pure stars. I am obsessed with this, and I noticed that this one out of the whole series is the best seller, and I can see why. It's funny because when we met Felix in the first book, he's so cute. He is quirky, awkward. Actually, I was reading this with my critique partner, and we were like, this is Cassian in a different way. This is Cassian. And this girl is me. I am her. And literally, I'm telling you, this book embodies everything that I love in things, and they were calling out things that I do all the time. It is so funny how they ended up, because the whole premise of this is that after these two get back, saving the world, whatever, they are at a bar drinking with her and some other demons and things like that. And so this guy wants her to marry him. And she's just like, get off my back. And so he was trying to get her to drink something, and she refused. So out of her frustration, she threw the drink at him. I don't know what the heck I was talking about. I meant to say she threw the drink at him, and he dodged the drink and ended up hitting Felix. Dodging him and ended up hitting this lovely fellow who we know as Felix from the first book. In the first book, I didn't care for him. He was just existing. But this made me really fall in love with him. He is so adorable. And this is very much giving Cassie and Nesta vibes. Not Nesta in regards to personality, but how Cassian treats Nesta. How he like just caters to her. Like it's very similar. She's also the type of girl that loves cheese and things. And so her name is Brie, which is so cute. It took me a while to get that. Oh my God, it's Brie, like the cheese. So there's like, it's just adorable. I love it. I don't want to spoil too much of it because my God. But again, this is a steam level of a probably 4.5. This is probably a 4. I'll still keep this in the 4 category. So just keep that in mind. But overall, I remember the first 3 or 4 chapters, I was cackling. I was crying in tears, laughing. It is so funny. If you're interested in this stuff, get it. All right. Now, this one. This one I just finished last night. I finished this in a day. It's the biggest one. This is her most recent one, I believe. I was talking about it with my critique partner, and I think the issue is that I'm not a fan of Cherry. Cherry doesn't give off a person who desperately cares about getting to her family. And I say that very lightly because she's been entrapped for years. So if you've read this one, you'll know that she thinks her sister is dead. She's been gone for 5 years when they were traveling, which is why she ends up being the scaredy cat that she is before she becomes, a courageous woman. But we find out that Cherry is alive. Spoiler alert. So I'll put a spoiler, I guess. But I mean, if you see the book, you see it. But basically, she's been entrapped. She wants to get home, of course. But once she is free from there, it doesn't give that she really cares about seeing her sister, which is so odd to me. I also want to make something very clear is that the reason why she initially didn't tell Dante where she lived was because she was afraid that he would like attack her village. But I feel like once she knew like he was safe and things like that, she proceeded to just not go. Like, I think she didn't actually make it home until, like, the epilogue. Like, it was like, she's clear, like, okay, you now know he knows who your family is, and you don't want to go see them? Really? But also, she's just very vain. She talks about, like, I like the riches, I like the money, and blah, 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 and kind of uses that to her advantage in it. But I just feel like she was just using Dante just like, well, if I'm stuck with him, he's going to protect my village, so maybe I can trust him then. And it's like, ugh, like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, honestly. And so let me just start by saying that when she was captured, this is Dante. So Dante is someone that came up in the first book. Fallon saved him, and he basically just been kind of following the group along. And he's at a point, he's like a 700-year-old dragon, and he's just like, I want to find my mate. Like, everyone here has their couples. Like, he has his wife, he has his wife, and now he wants his own, and so he needs to leave. And so he leaves to go visit another dragon, the dragon that so happily kidnapped her back way even before book 1 even started. And his personality is very grumpy. And I would say I read this whole book not for their relationship. I read it for Dante because Dante is a messy I'm sorry. He's so messy and in the best way possible. He is so funny. He's a gossipy, like, tell me what to do vibes. I don't want to mess this up. Like, he is hysterical. And that is it. I don't also like the fact that because he was like, tell me where you live, because how dragons work in this world is like wherever their wife lives, they claim that territory, and then they build a kingdom, and then they protect people in that land. And so she refused to tell him where she lived. And it's like, if you would have literally told this man the day that he saved you from the dragon, you would have been home to that day. Again, this is a very complex situation because it's like, I get it. You were just kidnapped and you don't want to share, but it's just Oh, it's so frustrating because you know, as the reader, like if she just confided in him, she would have been home. It's so complex and confusing, but yeah. And it's just a bunch of that, and it does get frustrating when he's like, "Oh, I've know that area. This like there's like a cute little town that I went to down like in this continent." And she's like, "Oh my god, what city? I can't." And she's like, "I can't say the city because then he'll know where I live." And it's a lot. So that part made me want to bang my head against a wall. But I just, though I would say, okay, I'm just gonna start by saying this and then I'm gonna go back. The star rating that I would give this is a 3.5. I honestly, the only reason why, there's only a handful of times this happened, but during the whole trip, when she gets her, when he gets his wife, is he talks to Fallon and Felix for relationship advice. And there, it was hilarious. Anytime Felix came into the scene, I was there for it. The way they just told this man like it is, and he respond. Their whole dynamic, it's very much giving Rhysand, Azriel, and Cassian vibes for me with Dante, Felix, and Fallon, hands down. And so when I read those scenes where he would like, "Oh my god, we just did the thing and she made me cinnamon rolls. What does that mean? Tell me what to do." And he's like, like it's giving ACOTAR in that sense. So if you're missing like a band of men, like a trio, like just tell you like it is, being sassy, helping each other out, like the bros, like this is gonna be your trilogy. I'm gonna share my favorite scene in this whole book. My favorite scene is like when Dante goes and gets Cherry, and he meets Cherry in her room, in her prison, I guess, and she gives him tea, and he drugs him, thinking like because she doesn't know demons are, decent people to some extent. And so she's like, maybe I can loosen up this dragon to get him to say yes to get me out of here. Not even realizing that he was already like, he's like, well, I can take you home. Like, and she's like, what? And she's like, don't drink any more of that. Like, oh, no, don't do it. And then he starts tripping balls. Like, he is talking to fruit. He's like, my arms are gone. It's like he's like a figment of his imagination. He sees Felix telling him off that he's gonna freaking mess everything up. Like, it is hilarious. Like, I read that scene. I think I will honestly read that scene for the rest of my life. It is literally gonna stay in my head. I absolutely obsess over it. I love Dante. Dante will always be my ride or die, which is again why I kept reading this book. But my god, oh my god, I got frustrated with Cherry a lot. I would say that out of the three women in the trilogy, Bree is my favorite next to Cinnamon. I feel like I don't know still a lot about Cinnamon, even though I read a whole book on her. Like, I feel like maybe it's because with Bree, I feel like she is me, I am her. In regards to her interests, her personality, things of that nature. But then this Cherry would be my last one. She just irked me in ways I cannot describe. But I digress. The spice level for this would again be a 4. I would say they're pretty up there, just through and through. So keep that in mind. But I would rate these books of my favorite to least would be, number 1 is this one. This one I will forever always read. I would probably reread this. This overall was very sweet, very nice. I love it. The next one I would probably read again. If I had to read the whole book again, I would do this one second. So this one would be second, the first one, and then I would read the third one. Okay? But if I had to go based on scenes, I would say that this would be my first. I would reread this drunk scene and all the mirror scenes where he was asking his bros for relationship advice again, and then I would just read this whole book again. But if I had to choose a whole book, this is gonna be the one. Sorry. But overall, like I said, the series in itself is phenomenal. I am obsessed. If she makes more in the series, I will definitely pick it up in the hopes that I'll have more experiences with my favorite men. And I just really want more of Fallon and Felix and Dante. And I feel like it might, just because of how book 3 ends, of them going on like an adventure, or like, you know, this making a kingdom together, Dante and Fallon. So I highly think that might be the case. Please, Kimberly, please make a 4th one. Overall, that is my review. These books will always have my heart. They are hilarious, and it was a breath of fresh air. I haven't read any fantasy like this ever, so this is a good read. So but that's all I have today. I am now trying to figure out what fantasy book I want to read. I was supposed to read Dark Winnow with my critique partner, but she just finished a book that's giving her major drunk hangover, and Dark Winnow it's intense. It's dark, and she was like, I'm not ready for that, so I will respect her wishes. And so I might be reading Crescent City next. We shall see. I have a lot of books in my TBR that I still can read as well. Like, I still have Lightlark to read. I have, what else do I have to read? I could just read, you know, the contemporary romance, but I really want to just stick to fantasy. So I have The Ivory Key as well. I don't think I even showed that on here, but yeah. But that's it. I will update you when I make a decision, but that is all I got today. So thank you for stopping by on this lovely day. I actually, just please pick these up. I want to read scenes to you guys, but I want you to just pick it up. And I'm just so happy that I get to read more about just like main characters being like Black women, and 2 of them, I believe, based on the covers, look a lot more on the curvier side, which is nice to see. We love representation. I feel like for Kimberly Lemming, I would definitely, whatever she writes, I will pick it up. I will pick it up. So there is a one called, I believe, I'm on her Instagram now. She has this one book that I noticed. It's like a snow one, I think. Where is it? Mistletoe. Yeah, it's giving Christmas, so I'll look into that one. But yeah. But that's all I got today. Thank you for stopping by, and check out my Instagram where I do most of my updates. But I'll see you soon. Bye!